So now I've introduced a vise here. If you got a vise, it's a very good thing to use. If you don't have one, you can take these holdfast and you can do one of two things. You can clamp it just down on the bench where it hangs over, and you can carve off the front of the seat. It's just that you got to bend over a little bit, but it works fine. Or if you had some sort of a rail right here, or you could put one in on this bench, and you could bore these 3/4 inch holes in it, and you could use your holdfast to hold the seat up just right like this, and it holds it just as good as the vise holds it. So you could do that. Okay. So I don't know if you can see these lines. I've got they're right on the pattern. So I've got this one drawn here, and then on the side, of course, it starts way up here. And maybe if I put a few little marks with a Sharpie, you'll be able to see it. And it drops all the way down to a line that I've put 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom. So the 3/4 line goes all the way around the front. And then over here on this corner right here, I connect this with this right here. Okay. So now the sequencing on the carving is important. So the first thing I did, of course, is I hogged out the material and the bowl part of the seat, and then planed down this part, recarved up to the line. And now what I'm going to do, I like this defined real well on the seat. And what I found is that if I carve this or this first, then I have a hard time defining that point right there. I'm not sure why. Maybe if I did it more often, it would be fine. But I found that if I carve this first, then I can carve up to those lines better. So I'll carve these first right here. Okay, so I kept my line down here. So there we go. Okay. Now I can start coming in, and you have to do a stop cut because you see it's not going to let me keep coming. So it's just dead flat across, connecting that line with that line right there. I can't see. Where's my line? There it is. Okay, now I'll switch over to this side. And maybe I'll move that little bit right there. And I keep my elbows in tight to keep from slipping and coming into that right there. This is a fun part of carving the seat right here. Oh, it's quite fun, but particularly this. So there you go. That line is defined, nice and sharp. This curve meets almost good. There's a little tear right there where I tore going uphill. There it goes, nice and sweet. So those lines, that's what you're trying to do, is hold those edges and those lines. Okay. Now I'm going to flip it around and do the other side. So the very first first thing, knocking this off. So this side of the seed carves different than this side, which is not unusual. This one, you might even tell it's making a little bit different sound. It's a little bit harder. There we go. Okay. Put those lines back. So this one's letting me carve a little further in this direction. Sweet. Here it's tearing a little bit with me right there. It's just barely letting me do that. But as I get lower here, I'm creating a little bit of a downhill, and we'll see if it lets me. Doesn't like it too much. It really wants me to carve that way. So if I can create this downhill here, I can form that line. Okay, now I'll turn it and we'll carve that front. Now one thing I might want to do is straighten out my unevenness of the bow saw. So over here, I started getting the hang of it a little bit better, but when I first started right over here, I go out and I come back in, and maybe it'd be best if I went ahead and fixed that right now. Okay, I think that'll work. Put my line back on there. Okay, now I'm just going to connect this line on this edge that's 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom, or thereabout, and this line right here with a flat bevel. Try to use as much of the knife as you can, slicing. You see I'm pulling into my body, that's where the strength is. nice. So we got those corners right there. That's what makes the chair, is those sharp corners and all those points. So we got the top of the seat carved. And so next I'll be boring the leg holes and tapering them. But for right now, we're finished.